Have you ever noticed how the electric vehicle market feels like an exclusive club that most of us are not invited to? Every time a new electric car comes out, it seems to have a price tag that requires a second mortgage, 1,000 horsepower you will never use, and a design that looks like a computer mouse. But what if you just want a normal, great-looking car that happens to run on electricity, doesn't cost a fortune, and actually makes your daily life easier? Welcome back to Drives, the channel where we cut through the hype and talk about cars the way real people drive them. Today, we are looking at a vehicle that I believe is going to completely break the market and change the way we think about affordable electric cars. Right behind me, sitting under the bright lights of the 2026 International Motor Show, is the brand new BYD Atto. This is a world premiere, and looking at it right now, you can feel the energy in the room. People are crowding around this car because it represents something we have all been waiting for. It is a compact electric SUV that promises to deliver high-end technology, fantastic design, and reliable daily driving, all at a price point that actually makes sense for the average family. Here at Drives, we see a lot of concept cars and high-end luxury vehicles, but it is cars like this too that truly get me excited because this is the car you might actually see in your driveway next year. To really understand why the Atto is such a massive deal, we have to look back at its older sibling, the BYD 3. When the 3 launched a few years ago, it was a revelation. It proved that a relatively new automaker could build an electric car with a fantastic battery, great range, and a quirky, fun interior, all while undercutting the established brands on price. But the 3 was not perfect. Some people found its styling a little too bubbly, and the interior, with its guitar string door pockets, was a bit too weird for conservative buyers. The 2 is the evolution of that legacy. It takes all the brilliant battery technology and value of the 3, but wraps it in a much more mature, sophisticated, and universally appealing package. It is the younger sibling that learned from all the older siblings' mistakes. Let us take a really close look at the exterior of this specific car sitting on the show floor, because the design team has done an absolutely phenomenal job. The paint on this model is a crisp, icy white that seems to glow under the auto show spotlights, but it is not just a plain white box. They have used a two-tone design, giving it a glossy black roof and blacked-out pillars. This creates what designers call a floating roof effect, making the car look lower, sleeker, and much more premium than its price tag would suggest. It is a simple visual trick, but it works beautifully to give this compact SUV a very sporty, aggressive stance. Moving to the front end, this is where the Atto really makes its statement. Look at that continuous, ultra-thin LED daytime running light that stretches all the way across the hood line. It gives the car a wide, futuristic face that looks like something out of a science fiction movie. Right below that light bar, sitting proudly in the center, is the BYD logo, and yes, it is illuminated. It is a small touch, but it adds a level of nighttime presence that you usually only see on high-end German luxury cars. The days of cheap-looking budget cars are officially over, and this front fascia proves it. My absolute favorite detail on the front of this car is down in the lower bumper. Look at those stacked, horizontal LED light bars on the outer corners. They look almost like glowing gills on a shark. They give the front end so much texture and aggression, breaking up the smooth white plastic and drawing your eyes down to the road. Combined with the sharp, angular black plastic trim that forms the lower air intake, the whole front end looks incredibly cohesive. It is bold without being obnoxious, and it is modern without looking like a toy. As we walk around to the side profile, you really get a sense of how planted this car looks. A big part of that comes from the wheels. Look at these massive, intricate black multi-spoke alloy wheels. They completely fill the wheel wells and give the car a very muscular look. Behind those dark spokes, you can just make out the brake calipers, keeping things subtle and focused on the wheel design itself. To emphasize that rugged SUV character, BYD has added thick, matte black plastic cladding around the wheel arches and along the bottom of the doors. This not only protects the paint from rock chips and shopping carts, but it visually slims down the side of the car, making it look athletic rather than heavy. You will also notice the flush door handles sitting perfectly flat against that icy white paint. When you unlock the car, they pop out to greet you, but when you're driving, they tuck away to improve the aerodynamics. In an electric car, every little bit of aerodynamic efficiency helps you squeeze out a few extra miles of range, so this is not just a styling choice, it is smart engineering. The body lines along the side are clean and sharp, catching the light and giving the doors a sculpted, muscular feel. It is a design that looks good today, and I genuinely believe it will still look good 10 years from now. Now, while we cannot climb inside this specific show car just yet, knowing BYD's current design language, we know exactly what to expect when you open those doors. The interior of the Atto is designed to be a calm, comfortable oasis away from the stress of the outside world. You can expect high-quality vegan leather seats that are soft to the touch and incredibly supportive for long journeys. The dashboard will be clean and minimalist, dominated by BYD's signature party trick, a massive central that can rotate from landscape to portrait mode at the touch of a button. Whether you prefer a wide screen for watching videos while charging or a tall screen for navigating city streets, the car adapts to you. Space is always a concern in compact SUVs, but electric cars have a secret weapon. Because there is no bulky engine up front or exhaust pipe running underneath the car, the interior floor is completely flat. This means that even though the two has a small footprint on the outside, the inside feels incredibly spacious. You can easily fit 3 adults in the back seat without anyone fighting for legroom. The trunk space is deep and wide, perfect for a week's worth of groceries, a couple of large suitcases, or all the gear you need for a weekend camping trip. It is a car designed for real life, not just for looking good on a spec sheet. Speaking of spec sheets, let us talk about what powers this machine, because this is where BYD truly shines. BYD actually started as a battery company long before they ever built a car, and that expertise is the heart and soul of the two. This car uses BYD's famous Blade battery technology. Without getting too technical, the Blade battery is designed to be incredibly safe, incredibly durable, and very space efficient. It does not use some of the rare, expensive metals found in older battery types, which is a big reason why this car can be priced so. It is a battery you can rely on for years without worrying about massive degradation. In terms of performance, the two is not trying to be $1 million, and I love that about it. It offers a very sensible, usable amount of power. You can expect a range of around 250 to 300 miles on a single charge, depending on the battery size you choose. That is more than enough for 99% of our daily driving needs. Whether you're commuting to work, dropping the kids off at school, or running errands around town, you will only need to charge this car once or twice a week. And when you do need to charge on a longer road trip, it supports fast charging that can get you from 10% to 80% in about half an hour. Just enough time to grab a coffee and stretch your legs. What does it actually feel like to drive? If you have never driven an electric car before, the first thing you will notice when you push the start button is the absolute silence. There is no engine vibration, no exhaust noise, just a quiet readiness. When you press the accelerator, the power delivery is instantly smooth. There are no gears shifting, no hesitation, it just glides forward effortlessly. It makes city driving, which is usually stressful and noisy, feel incredibly relaxing. You find yourself listening to your music more clearly, having quieter conversations with your passengers, and just feeling less fatigued at the end of the day. The steering in the two is light and easy, making it an absolute breeze to maneuver through tight parking lots or narrow city streets. The suspension is tuned for comfort, not for setting lap times on a racetrack. It soaks up potholes, speed bumps, and rough pavement with a soft, forgiving ride. Visibility out of the front and sides is excellent, thanks to large windows and relatively thin pillars. It is a car that does not demand your constant, intense attention. It just works with you, making your journey as easy and comfortable as possible. Now I want to talk directly to you for a second. I know a lot of you watching drives are still on the fence about electric cars. You might be worried about where to charge, how long the battery will last, or if it will leave you stranded. I hear you, and those are valid concerns. But the reality of owning a car like the two in 2026 is very different from the EV landscape of 5 years ago. If you have a driveway or a garage, you can plug this car into a standard outlet overnight, just like your smartphone, and wake up to a full tank every single morning. You never have to visit a gas station in the freezing cold or the pouring rain ever again. The ownership reality of this car is where the true value lies. Because electric motors have very few moving parts compared to a traditional gas engine, there is simply less to break. There are no oil changes, no spark plugs to replace, no transmission fluid to flush. Your routine maintenance basically consists of rotating the tires and filling up the windshield washer fluid. When you combine the savings on gasoline with the drastically reduced maintenance costs, the two becomes incredibly cheap to run on a daily basis. It is a car that respects your wallet long after you have driven it off the dealership lot. Of course, no car is perfect, and part of our job here at Drives is to give you the honest truth, flaws and all. If you're someone who regularly drives hundreds of miles a day through remote areas without charging infrastructure, this might not be the car for you just yet. And while the infotainment system is packed with features, sometimes having all your climate controls buried in it can be frustrating when you just want to quickly turn down the air conditioning. There is a slight learning curve to the technology, and it might take a week or two to feel completely at home in the driver's seat. When we weigh those minor trade-offs against everything else this car offers, the verdict is overwhelmingly positive. The 2026 BYD Atto is a triumph of packaging, design, and value. It proves that you do not need to spend luxury car money to get a beautifully designed, highly advanced, and incredibly comfortable electric vehicle. It is the perfect car for a small family, a young professional, or anyone who wants to transition to electric driving without compromising on style or practicality. It is a car that makes sense for the real world. If you are in the market for a new car in the next year, whether you were considering an EV or not, you absolutely must put the two on your test drive list. It might just change your mind about what an affordable car can be. I want to know what you guys think though. Look at this design, look at those wheels, look at that front light bar. Would you park this in your driveway? Let me know down in the comments below because I read every single one of them. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and remember, no matter what you drive, enjoy the journey. This is Drives, and I will see you in the next one.